are some of Kilmoyley's most prominent and historic features. This is Kilmoyley National School, which was built in the year 1944. It replaces the original school, which was built 101 years previously in the year 1843. The rent for the site for the original school was 1 peppercorn per year. This stone stands in the townland of Kilmoyley. It is known locally as the Gallan Stone. It is approximately 7 feet in height and has a commanding view of the surrounding countryside. In the distance we can see Kerry Head with the Atlantic waves breaking against its rocks. Many years ago this Gallan Stone stood in the middle of a nearby field, but for agricultural reasons was moved against one of the adjoining fences. This is Tarman Erk, on one of the highest parts of the townland of Lerwick. It was here St. Erk, the first bishop of Kerry, resided for some time. It was here also he saw the light in the sky on the night that St. Brendan was born. In the distance is Kilmoyley Church of the Sacred Heart, which was built in the year 1873. It replaced the old attached roof building in Lerwick, which was a very poor quality and survived for only about 75 years. We are now looking at Lerwick Loch, which is on very high ground, and despite its great height, rarely runs dry, even in the warmest of summers. There is a lovely song written about it called Sweet Lake of Larry's Vale by the late Father Griffin, who died as parish priest of Doha in 1950. It has now become a visitor attraction, and especially for children, because of the plentiful supply of swans and ducks to be seen there at all times. It makes a lovely scene. This is Kilmoyley's oldest pre-Christian monument. It stands against a fence in the townland of Lerwick. Some years ago, it was 70 or 80 yards further east. It marks the burial place of some ancient tribal leader or some old burial or the boundary place between dividing factions. Behind these walls lie the remains of hundreds of Kilmoyley men who over the years have given titanic service to Kilmoyley hurling and to the green and gold jersey. Their loyalty to the club, their determination is borne out by the family names that appear on headstones all over this cemetery. If only these headstones could talk, what stories they would tell of courage, determination, of exciting games, some won and some lost.
In this very special occasion, we are marking in the memory of the late Mickey McGrath, one of the legends of our club, and we're getting Father Lavelle to bless the structure here, and then we'll go on with the unveiling, and I'll roll out the events as we go along. Okay, I'll ask Father Lavelle to bless the structure.
Thanks very much. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Peace of Christ be with you all. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am there among them, says Jesus, and we are certain that he is here among us this evening.
A reading from the book of Genesis. At the time when the Lord God made earth and heaven, there was as yet no wild bush on the earth, nor had any wild
There's a lot of young people around here, and they will say, who was Mickey McGrath? Mickey McGrath will be a living legend as long as the Kilmoyley Huddle Up can hold going. We will go back, say it around 1938. He played on the Kerry minor team who defeated Waterford. They were defeated later in the Munster final by Cork. In 1948 he captained the Kilmoyley team to win the county championship. Now, for those of us who read the Kilmoyley book, we know how he got to be captain of that team. So he trained 5 county championship teams, and we'll go back again to the 1930s, 1940s, around that time when money wasn't that plenty like it is right now. He always was known to put his hand into his pocket, and if the club was in trouble, he always helped them out. So it's only fitting with the trainers that we have come in here, like Sir John Myler before and Anthony Daly, and they're saying to us here in Kerry we're too slow, and the only way to speed up our game is one of these hurling alleys here, and of course they're right in what they're saying because they have it all done. But as Mickey McGrath, I first met him in the early 60s, and I wasn't that old at him, by Jesus, I said to myself, that was, he says, a serious, passionate man about who he was and where he was from. And we'll just say, for instance, if we needed something and we had only half a chance of getting it, Mickey was the man to sing, because Mickey would bamboozle with rockers of words, and you'd come back, I tell you that, you would come back with something. Mickey McGrath is and will always be a legend in Kilmoyley.
Well, the facilities alone that are completed down at Lerwick there are wonderful facilities, one of the best in the county and indeed in the country. They stand, you know, as a great example and to the people of Kilmoyley and the GAA and the efforts of all those people who funded it and who worked tirelessly for years and who had a good vision as to how to maintain a strong culture of sport in the parish, and to have it named after Mickey was just a wonderful honour, and I think it's just testament again to Mickey's generosity of time that he gave to the parish and he gave to GAA, and the commitment he had to community, which I believe was never in all his life changed from being a great one and a very healthy one, and he was extremely popular and liked, and a great champion of the underdogs.
Mickey got a great send-off in his funeral, didn't he, Pat?
He did. And again, that again was just an example of the regard he was held with within the parish, you know, within Kilmoyley, and the love that the people had for him. And I think that just more or less gave back to him on that day and demonstrated how he felt about Kilmoyley himself, you know, and that love he had of it. And I think it was a very proud moment for all of us that such a turnout was given to him.
Books are wrote in the future, Mickey will go down as one of the greats.
Well, when they do write them and whatever recording is there, I think that that experience for us all growing up in Kilmoyley moulded us for the rest of our lives, and he will join all the greats of community and of GAA supporters and trainers and whatever adjectives one would be seeking to use. I think Mickey would fall into most of them there with great stuff.
It's a pleasure to present the Sonny Harris Cup to Micheál Regan and Kilmoyley.
I want so much. I'd like to thank O'Donnell for the very sporting, hard, I suppose, fair game, and I want to give him 3 cheers. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Thanks.
After 30 years, did you ever think you're going to win the county championship again?
For a long time it seemed that we weren't going to win it at all. We got so close, maybe in '98 we got to the semi-final against Causeway. But I think it really changed when John Mylock came in 2000. We were playing Ballyhaig in the quarter-final. I think we lost by maybe 2 points. We just made a few mistakes on the night, maybe, and things were different. We could have won it because Ballyhaig went on afterwards and won the final handy. But in 2000 I think we knew what we had to do. We had our homework done. And big change, like Myler was a great man coming in there. Like he kind of like the missing link really. He kind of organised us, he got us training different methods, like, and he had very good training tactics and drills, and we were constantly playing challenge matches, like, it's what we needed really. Before that we kind of had no direction, we were kind of going from match to match, like, and going in every year into Tralee, like it was getting harder and harder to try and get out of the result. But once Mylock came in, we just got confidence, we got going, and once we won one, we won 4, like, so it was just, all it was just to break the back and win the first one. But no, I'd say John was a great influence on a lot of lads that came in that stage. Like, he was a lot of young lads came in the team as well. Like, it was kind of a transition in the team. We had the old guys like Christy Welch and Joe Welch, and we had the young guys in like Shane coming up and Billy and Darren Young and all those guys. Like, and there was all the fellas in hanging around as well. Like, so it was we had a great mix, and John kind of brought us all together, and it was great to see it.
Did he change the mentality of the Kilmoyley team?
Oh, he did, yeah. We kind of went from always being beaten, first round, second round, as far as we got, coming out the road, then from us the Stacks after being beaten, kind of our heads hanging, like. But once John came in, we won our first 2 matches. Confidence started players got a bit of confidence, I suppose, and it was high in the camp. We just started playing, and then really the real Kilmoyley came out then, I'd say.
In 2007, you got a new manager, Anthony Daly. What changes did he bring to the club?
Well, I think after losing in 2005 and 2006, we kind of felt flat. Like, we didn't know what was left in the team. Like, maybe we needed just a new outlook and a change of direction. Maybe we needed something just different, just totally different. When Daly came in, then, like, it was just another boost for us, because John Myler was after taking over the Wexford job at the time. Like, and when Daly came in, then we were at a low ebb as such. Like, we kind of didn't know where we were going. But Daly kind of gave us new life, a new spurt again. Like, and we made it as far as the final. We thought we had 2 very good games. We beat Ballyduff well, we beat Ballyhaig well in the final. But then in the final, Lixnaig caught us on. They played well now that day. Like, Lixnaig played well and they caught us on the final. Like, and maybe we thought we should have won that one, but in fairness, Lixnaig were better on the day. Like, and that was all we can say. But last year, then we came back ready to avenge that defeat, right? And it showed last year we won all our matches very handy. Like, even the final, we won handy. So maybe it was losing 2007 drove us on last year to win another one, maybe 2008. So I think Daly's brought a lot with him. Like, we've had a lot of challenge matches, like, and he brings a different mindset. Like, he's a experienced man. Like, he's done it all. He's been an All-Ireland winning captain, like, and for Clare, and he's been an All-Star. And okay, if you don't listen to a like Daly, like, who could you listen to? Like, he's a great motivator. You could say great leader. You could say he's always been a great leader. Like, and he kind of drives that into players as well. Like, and they want to play for him. Like, and a lot of fellas, he gets on very well with the club. Like, and he's always great lad himself, like Daly. Like.
Now, you're drawn against Ballyduff this year. Matches on in a couple of weeks' time. How's training going?
We've been, last couple of weeks now, we've been stepping up a lot. Before that, it was kind of very flat. Like I said, we had so many guys involved with Kerry. Like, we had 10 fellas on the panel. Like, it was very hard to kind of keep going with the club as well. Like, because we have so many fellas out of the team. Like, it's hard to get gelled together. Like, and we saw it in our county league games. We were very poor. Like, we didn't play well as a team together at all. Like, but in the last couple of weeks now, we've seen a big difference. Daly's back around now, because he's been involved with Dublin all year, like, but he's back around now, and Tom Howard is around, and things are coming together nicely. Like, we're getting 2 games in now as well. Like, and training's a lot harder. Like, we stepped up an awful lot. I'd say we'll be alright now once we get going.
Now, Tom Howard is a great man too for training that team, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Tom's great for his stuff. Tom was with us last year as well. In fairness, he was always Anthony's right hand man. Like, Tom would come to all our matches as well, and he might be in the stand or he might be on the sideline. He'd kind of have a word with Daly, like, too, and kind of look at the game differently. Like, Tom would look at it from one angle, Daly look at it from another angle, like, and the two of them kind of might see something different. Like, but Tom has been, in fairness, he's been over Clarecastle and Clare for a couple of years himself as well, like, so he knows the game well, like, and he's a great Clarecastle club man, and he's very fond of Kilmoyley as well, like, you can see it in him, and he's great, he's very motivated, like, you can see when he comes down, he's delighted when there's a good session in Kilmoyley. We have 30 players there, like, and Tom goes home, you know, after a hard session with us, he's delighted himself, he got something out of the session, like, he knowing that we did a lot of work, that, and a lot of good work, like, and I had a great time for Tom, like, as well.
Bringing managers from outside the county, do you think it's a benefit?
Yeah, every club has done it now. I think there was always a problem in Kerry like this. I won't say we didn't have the coaches, but it's just like we've great coaches in Kerry too, like you have Morris Leahy, you have Eddie Murphy, guys like that, like they're very good coaches. But I think like when you bring in an outside man, like you bring in different tactics, different mindset, like maybe he doesn't know anything about the Knock Kerry, he doesn't know anything about the club, maybe it's better that way, like, because I think you can know too much about the Knock Kerry club as well, like you're better off not knowing a thing, coming in fresh outlook. You're not going to worry about different clubs, different players, not going to bother you. If you come in like and just coming from Clare, coming from Cork, coming from Limerick, you don't know anything about any Knock Kerry club, so you're coming in clean slate, start from there. I think it makes a big difference.
I'm speaking to Anthony Daly, the manager of the Kilmoyley team. Anthony, what brought you down to Kerry in the first place?
Oh, I don't know, James. At the time, I was just after finishing 3 years managing Clare, I guess, and I suppose that's real high intensity stuff, you know, as high as you can get. We were beaten in 2 All-Ireland semi-finals narrowly, and fairly fed up with hurling at the time, to be honest, and my own club were after me to go back in, but it had been a bit like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire, as the fella says. So, you know, I knew a few of the lads, got to know them maybe through a bit of involvement with coursing, to tell you the truth, first of all, and the old call came there to know to come down and give the old minors a night first, I think, and I did a night with the minors, and from that then I suppose just the lad said, would you have any interest? John Myler, I think, was after being gone, it was taken over Wexford, I think, at the time, so it just was a vacancy, I suppose, and the lads asked me would I have any interest, and you know, it sounded attractive to me at the time to get away from Clare and get away from the hurly-burly and come down here to Kerry, you know, and I knew there was a great intensity in the club rivalry down here, and you know, happened to lose to Kerry in 1995 after winning the All-Ireland in the first round of the league, so I knew there was plenty good hurlers and that, so you know, it came down and it was a good move. I really enjoyed it, I have to say.
Did you know much about Kilmoyley before you came down?
I wouldn't have known a whole pile about the individual clubs, James, but as I said to you, Corson has been a great love of mine, you know, and obviously North Kerry, as well as being the home of the hurling, would be the home of the Corson, maybe in Ireland. They'd like to think it is anyway. We'd beg to differ at times about that, but obviously, you know, there's an awful lot of Corson meetings in North Kerry, so we would come down and, you know, there's a social aspect to the Corson, obviously. It's a good winter time of the ride. You know, I would have got to know a few of the lads, probably got to know a few of the Ballyduff lads, ironically, first of all, you know, with their meeting, the likes of the Dan Lynches of this world and that, and you'd meet them in Clonmel and that, and they would describe to you the various bits and pieces. And as I said, I played with Clare for a lot of years, and we met Kerry in a lot of, you know, met him in a Munster semi-final in 1994 in Tralee, and I think we won by about 6 points in a real tough battle, and ironically, of course, that league game, as I mentioned earlier, came down as All-Ireland champions and got dumped out of Tralee, beaten. So, you know, I would have known a few of the top names. Obviously, the Bricks stand out here in the club, you know, and the name Murnane obviously stands out as well. A lot of the lads would have been around at that stage. So, I would have known bits and pieces about various, but I wouldn't have known, had an in-depth knowledge. No, I wouldn't have had, no.
Losing in 2007, it must have hurt you and the team.
Yeah, big time. We were made very warm favourites, James, for that game. You know, we played what I would describe probably as our best hurling since I landed anyway, against Ballyduff the first round that year. Had no test at all off Ballyhaig, I think, in the semi-final. A very poor game, but you know, won it very comfortably. But in the final, I think we were probably ambushed in lots of ways. You know, we weren't ready for the physical challenge that Lixnaw threw down on the day. They were very physical and legitimately physical. I'm not, you know, it was very legit, but they hit very hard and hit fair and were, you know, tough and fast and fit. And our fellas just weren't up for a battle like that. And also, all those players had probably won every final they played in and couldn't see themselves losing to Lixnaw. And they would admit that to this day, that they literally could not see themselves losing that game. And it's very hard to get inside the heads then. And fellas were literally going into Tralee to collect the cup in lots of ways, and that doesn't work, I'm afraid. If your head is like that, anyone is capable of beating you. Even though you're probably a better hurling team, if your head is not right, you can be beaten. So it did hurt, yeah, it did hurt. It was very disappointing, and I suppose it probably was the driving force for last year's victory then, you know, that, you know, fellas wanted to put it right.
What do you think the team can achieve?
Well, you know, I mean, first of all in Kerry it's all about winning the championship, and that's the key thing, and Neelis Flynn is the sought after prize, and that's just the first and foremost. You have to win the championship every year in Kilmoyley. That's the way it is. 21 championships won, and every year it's the first demand is to win your championship. I honestly would have been a bit disappointed last year, you know, in that when we won the championship, now we hadn't much time, and you know, we had a wedding in between and everything else, and things broke against us with an old injury to Shane as well, and you know, I felt we could have had a real rattle at the Munster. They're back intermediate now, whoever wins the Kerry Championship, which is probably, you know, fair enough. Like, it would be very hard to compete with the top clubs. I know they did compete and competed very well in the past, but at the moment I think it's very fair to go back to intermediate level. But I would feel that it would give Kilmoyley, or whoever would come out of Kerry really, a realistic chance of going along and getting to Croke Park and playing an All-Ireland intermediate club final. Like Blarney beat us here last year. We made a couple of off stakes and gave away a couple of handy goals, missed a lot of chances on the day, poor enough conditions for hurling on the same day. I would have felt it was a lot closer than the scoreline would have suggested. Blarney literally didn't have another game until the final last year, where the Galway champions gave them a good rattle, but they still won that by 5 points fairly comfortably. But they cruised through the rest of Munster after, you know, I've met a couple of Cork people since that said that definitely the toughest battle they had was up in Kerry against Kilmoyley. So, you know, realistically, look, whoever would come out of Kerry this year, I would say they should be having a real rattle at the Munster Intermediate Championship and try and take it from there, obviously one game at a time. But for Kilmoyley, you can't look that far ahead. Obviously, you know, we're drawing against Ballyduff, and that's a huge game, and that's a game that can go any way on the day. So we just have to get our heads right for that. And for every game in Kerry, you have to have your head right. But if you could come out, I think realistically you could have a right cut at that championship.
How is training going at the moment?
Well, a bit different than last year, I would say, in that, you know, the system is different. First of all, it's a straight knockout again, as it has been lots of times, but last year you had the luxury of a backdoor if you lost your first round, so maybe teams weren't as ready last year early on, and you know, you would have felt that there was a little bit more easy going into the first round last year. You knew it wasn't sudden death as it normally is in Kerry, and as it is again this year. Now this year we also had the added thing of probably had, I think, 13 guys on the Kerry Christie ring panel, you know, so very, very difficult for training. And obviously I'm up with Dublin now as well, so my buddy Tom Howard would have been doing most of the training. He's a very good trainer now, won a couple of championships with Clarecastle training us, and he would be happy that the effort, you know, when you're missing your top 12 or 13, it's very hard for training to be of the very top quality. But to be fair to the lads that were still around, we still had the number, still had 16, 17 training, which was fantastic. I would feel that we're sort of starting to come right now. Now we're on the eve of the game. Whether we've enough done, we'll find out Sunday evening. But look, 12, 13 yards lads playing Christie, 8 of them started for Kerry in most of those games. Like, Ballyduff had only one guy starting in most of those games and maybe one sub, so our lads should be at an advantage that way. Okay, the training, you'd like to be doing your own training for a longer period, but I think we've plenty training done to beat Ballyduff. If our heads and our bellies are right on the day, we've a great chance of coming out on top.
After a successful term training and managing the Dublin team, what's it feel like to be back in Kilmoyley again?
It's great, James. It's a different level, obviously. You know, at inter-county level, it's so professional now, and it's so intense. It's incredible, really. Like, you just have to prepare day and night for it. You know, at club level, there's not quite that intensity there. No matter where, you know, my own club, Clarecastle, we see what training they're doing over the last couple of weeks since I finished up. I've gone in to watch them playing a couple of matches and that, and you know, it's a level down. But look, it's very, very important, and I realise that. And yet, it's a great. You know, a change is as good as a break, they say, and it's a change, and it's great. I'm really enjoying the buzz, and the lads are great to train. I mean, I've been involved in lots of clubs, not other clubs, but my own club, and given a hand here and there with a club in Galway at one stage, and a couple of other intermediate and junior clubs in Clare. And you know, the level of intensity in the training here is fantastic. Everyone puts it in. I mean, Tuesday night here, 34 guys. We played a 15-a-side match and had to leave 4 guys off. You know, that's not easy, but you know, to get a 34 turnout for club training, that doesn't happen in too many places. And I would say there's great credit to you here, fantastic, and the hurling wall here behind us. You know, there's great positive moves being made all the time, and the guys at the top are driving it on all the time, and you can see the juvenile training going on. Tuesday night the minors were training, there was under 10s, 11s training, we were training, the Camogies had been training earlier, so it's fantastic progress all the time, and a great club. I would be first to say that, you know, a great club, and I'd stand by that to the rest of my days. You know, a great club and a fantastic privilege for me to be involved.
Speaking to Shane Brick. Shane, you've been injured for a lot of this season, and now you're fully fit. How does it feel like to be back?
It's great to be back. Like, there's more of a sickness I had. Got pneumonia earlier on in the season, just at the end of the Kerry campaign, so I missed out 4 or 5 weeks. But it's great to be back training, great to be back in action. Like, looking forward to Sunday now.
Now, preparations are going fairly well for Sunday. Is Ballydove is probably one of your strongest challenges now in this championship.
Well, yeah, Kilmoyley Ballydove matches are always tough down through the years. They've always been, not a whole pile in it, and it'll be the same on Sunday. Like, they're preparing hard as are we, and it's all down to the day now. We're looking forward to it, and hoping to come out on the right side of the result.
Now, Anthony Daly is back on the frame. A successful term in Dublin. It must be great to have him back.
It is, yeah. It's massive to have Anthony back, in fairness to him. It is a savage commitment. Like, another guy would be delighted to get to the end of an inter-county, season, instead of, tearing into, a long drive down to Kerry and to train a Kerry club or whatever, But he's been great, of the last few years, like, and hopefully we can do our stuff again now on Sunday.
But it must be fantastic for the Kilmoyley team to have such managers like Anthony Daly and the previous senior manager John Myler in the club, and now John Myler is back training the minors again. It must be fantastic altogether.
Yeah, sure. It's unbelievable, like, to have the former Wexford manager at one side of the field training the minors, and the current Dublin manager and former Clare manager, 2 All-Ireland winning captains. Like, it's fantastic. Like, to be coming down to a spot down here in our Kerry. Like, it just shows that the 2 lads are fierce committed to the hurling. Like, and they're mighty men. Like.
But it must be down to the dedication of the players as well that these managers keep coming back and training Kilmoyley. If that wasn't there, they probably would not come back, would they? I
presume that they see something in the whole thing, like, not just the players, but the way the club is run and the whole lot, and the backup. We'll say people mending hurleys and making sandwiches and the whole lot. It's a kind of a community effort, and I presume they see they like what they see. It's Tuesday evening after the big match on Sunday. You've beaten Ballydove. That must be a big boost to you.
I tell you now, we're very ready to be over this match because we knew we had a serious battle in our hands. And I was talking to you last week and you were asking us how we were, and I said that everything was going fine, training was going fine, and we were free of injuries, and we were well ready for the match. But we knew Ballyup were going to come at us, and which they did. But talking about the match itself then, I thought we got off to a kind of a shaky start. But our backs seriously hurled themselves to a standstill to keep us in it because our forwards were not working. And going into the last 15 minutes, I was saying to Anthony there, but he was saying we would still make it, that if we could come level with him, that we'd pass him. But our fellas finished stronger, but he brought out Billy and he brought out James out around the middle of the field, and with our backs hurling themselves to a standstill, we held off the challenge of Ballyduff. But I would say this before the next match, that our forwards were not working well the last night.
Now, next match, we're drawn against Creta. Very young team, I suppose, very inexperienced team compared to Kilmoyley. But at the end of the day, experience that counts in the Sean.
Of course, we've been around the block, and of course, but having said that, Crata will come at us with everything. They're a young team, and they will come at us, and they're lively. I was watching them playing inside the last night there before game, and they totally ran Ballyhig ragged. So they're going to come in at us at the same thing. But I would say, having said that, I think that with the experience we have, and we have a lot of very strong players, I think we should be able to pull through. But a semi-final is a semi-final.
Kilmoyley, true to their colours, the few changes that were made, they worked, and we were very glad to come out of it with a win. I've been talking to a few fellas since. They claim it was as an important a win as this present team have won in the last 10 years. As important a game as this present team have won in the last 10 years. They were really thrilled with themselves that they got over this Ballyduff team.
Do you think trying to break the record this year, it puts a small bit of extra pressure on the team? I know it's in the back of their minds and they might be thinking about it on the day, but it is there, isn't it, Morris?
Well, I suppose any time you're trying to make records and make history, and it's never easy to make history. Kerry footballers found that out in 1982 against Offaly. Kilkenny are heading for it this year, but it'll be interesting to see if they'll do it. But history is an awful hard thing to do, Kilmoyley with their 4 in a row, I once said I slipped up, but they didn't make it 5, because I'd never made it 5. So the 4 in a rows were there, But I don't think there'll be pressure on them this year. I think they're good enough to go ahead, they're meeting Crata the next time, and I think they're good enough, and if they keep their heads in the right place, they certainly have the hurlers. No doubt at all about it.
I'm speaking to Mary Fitzgerald, the secretary of Killard Camogie team. Mary, how did you come up with the name?
The name originated from the amalgamation of 2 clubs, namely Kilmoyley and Ardfert. The Queel came from Kilmoyley and the Ard came from Ardartha, and therefore the name Killard. The club here has chosen the colours red and black as their club colours, namely because they're girls and it was nice to keep them in girls' colours, and that we'd have our own uniform.
Do you find the primary schools very supportive of the Camogie team?
Yes, we do. The schools give us great support insofar as they enter the children in the mini-sevens competitions, they enter them in the county skills competitions, and also we have a primary development which takes place every year where the children from all the primary schools are brought together, and we have a Kerry panel that we take to either Rathmore or Cork for a competition at the end of the year. Also, with the schools, we've had great success insofar as 3 of our girls last year won the county skills competitions, and 2 of them won the county skills competitions this year. Also, we have a girl going to the All-Ireland Community Games final now, representing the club, Ardfert Kilmoyley, in the long puck.
I'm speaking here to Pete Young, the selector. Pete, is there a future for Camogie in North Kerry?
Well, I suppose we're only at a developing stage at the moment, and you probably go from strength to strength from that, like, you know. But you start with the underage, like with Eamon Fitz there from Halfert. He's starting off there with the primary. We kind of take him over from there, like, you know, and we kind of work on it from there, you know. But as regards the future, yes, I think there is. But our aim is to come up with a Kerry junior team. And I suppose with the last 3 years we only kind of based it on from 12s to 14s, and you go back 2 years ago, we kind of, after the failure, the girls come to 16 and they kind of drift away, you know, and you're kind of hoping that it will stay together. But our aim from now on is to kind of keep them together, get more competitions, because we have enough of clubs for competitions anyway, like, you know. So we go outside for a lot of games, and even this year we went down to Limerick and we played in the Limerick League, and we had great success there. So we're kind of building on that, and the aim is to get a Kerry junior Camogie team, and I'd say give it maybe 3 to 4 years, I think we will get there. But if we keep it together, and I think we will, there's a great future for Camogie and Kerry. A great future.
Do you get much support from the county board?
Well, very good support. We even there now the failure this year and the year before we got great support from the Kerry County Board, you know, and they give us back and they put money involved as well, you know. But our biggest problem with Kerry, I suppose, is the football again, like, you know. But if we can get Camogie into the likes of Tralee and Killarney and places like that. We had a couple of girls from back there now in Kilmoyley there, back sometime last year. And right good holidays, there was girls down there from Duwa and back in Killarney. And if we could keep it going in them areas, I think we'd have no problem around here, you know. But if we got them more involved, I think Camogie is fair strong. It's going to be fair strong, you know. So hopefully things will progress from here, like, you know.
I'm speaking here to Bernie Young, one of the women behind the scenes. Bernie, have you seen much progression now in the club since it started?
Yeah, we've seen a fair bit of progression. We started off with 50 children and we've maybe increased maybe 10 or 15. We have under 8s, under 10s, under 12s, under 16s and a few minor girls. But we wouldn't have enough for a full team in the minors, so they're hoping to start off a junior team, a Kerry junior team. We have blitzes for our under 8s and 10s, and we have domestic leagues for under 10s, 12s and 14s, but we haven't started them yet. So.
Do you think there should be more commitments from the other hurling clubs in North Kerry?
Well, yes, there's only the 3 clubs, Cabby Leaks, Causeway and Killard, and I mean we had a few girls from South Kerry, but they have pulled out. But I suppose it's a fair distance to drive to Kilmoyley for the training sessions, and you know there should be a lot more. I mean the Listowel is a big area and they have started up a team, but as such they haven't really been playing much this year yet, you know, but they're only after starting, but they have a big squad. But Tralee should have, you know, there should be players in Tralee as well, but just to get them going really.
And primary school is a big advantage for some clubs, you know, the likes of Kilmoyley and Orford. They play hurling at the school. Do you think it should be encouraged more?
Oh God, yeah. I'd say Causeway girls play as well. That's where we all started off, all our children in Kilmoyley, and I'm sure if all the other schools started off the hurling in Camogie there, we would have a bigger influence, bigger number of girls playing the Camogie. It's slow to take off. The hurling comes first, I think, and the Camogie second. But I think the parents have a lot to do with it as well. There should be a lot more commitment from the parents, because it's the same few that you have at all the matches. Like here today, the same few women always, you know. But that's the way of things, and that's the way it will stay, I'd say.
I'm speaking to Tommy O'Connor, a coach with Killard Club. Tommy, what do you think is the way forward for Camogie in North Kerry?
Well, certainly I think we need cooperation among all the clubs, and even as we speak that's happening. Killard are a combination of St Brendan's, Kilmoyley and Ballyhaig. We have Abbey Leaks, who are a combination of Aberdeen and Lixna, and I suppose down the line we have to look towards the formation of a team in Tralee, which is probably essential with the population that they have. And certainly we have a small number of girls playing the game at the moment, and we certainly have room for expansion, increase maybe the number of players playing the game. And if the clubs can combine in groups like that, maybe under different names, maybe it's an opportunity to promote the game. Certainly Camogie is an attractive game, and it's a game where in North Kerry itself it has a great support base among parents, and I suppose the coaching structure is quite good, and certainly there is scope for development, but it's going to mean an awful lot of hard work and an awful lot of work maybe in the schools in the years ahead. So I think the hurling clubs will certainly have to support it, but also we have to look at people outside of the traditional base, and that is happening maybe even to a certain extent in the existing clubs, but people who have come into the area maybe from other hurling counties, and certainly look at the Munster development structure. I know there's a Munster development officer, and we need to look at the way we're working with her in the promotion of the game. So certainly there is a future, but there's an awful lot of hard work to get us to maybe what is our eventual aim of fielding a Kerry Camogie team in the Munster and All-Ireland Junior Championships.
Now, Camogie in Kilmoyley has come on a long ways since your playing days, Joe.
There's a lot of changes since I was playing. I mean, we must remember this is about 40 years ago since I played. In those days I played with Ballyduff to start with. And then Causeway started a team, so in those days you had to play with the team that was nearest to where you lived. So I transferred to Causeway. Now, there was no underage teams at the time, but we had wonderful, wonderful times. We played championship, county league, and we even won the county championship in the early 70s, and it was really, really great. But we didn't have facilities. We didn't even have a field to play in. The kids nowadays, they have everything. I mean, they have trainers, they have people to look after them from underage up, no problem. And they even have sponsors nowadays.
Now, this present Kilmoyley senior team have done very well so far this year.
They've done very, very well. I mean, they've beaten Ballyduff. Now they're playing Croton in the semi-final. And please God, they'll get to the final.
Now, your husband Johnny was a great hurling man, Joan.
Well, Johnny loved hurling in general. Being from Clare, he loved hurling. He loved championship games in Kilmoyley. And sadly this year he won't be there. He was killed in a car accident a few months ago. And then when Anthony Daly was appointed to Kilmoyley, he thought it was fantastic. He was a great fan of Anthony Daly's, and he even got a chance to meet him a few times, which he was delighted about. And please God, this year Kilmoyley will do the double and break all the records.
I'm here now inside Paddy Sullivan's workshop, where he repairs all the hurleys for the Kilmoyley Hurling Club. How did you first get into repairing hurleys, Paddy?
James, I started way back fixing hurleys. As a young fella, I started fixing hurleys above an Adra and like repairing and carrying out small repairs. And I continued up along the line and for teammates when we were playing minor and on to senior. And for a time we used to go down to Daly's, like we bought a lot of hurleys down in Daly's. We used to be up and down to Daly's, and I was watching the repairs there, and then I started repairing them kind of for the club like, and I've been repairing a long time. Then the lads came along on the scene and they got into the repairing like, and today like they do most of them, because the way it goes like you'll be always repairing them for your own teammates, and when you shove on and move along, you don't have that many teammates, so the lads do most of them today.
Well, Paddy, I suppose with the price of hurleys these days, it makes more sense to repair hurleys and buy new ones, Paddy, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, definitely. There's a lot of repairs today, like a lot of repairs. Most of the players have their own type of hurley, the type of hurley they like themselves, and they send a template like to the hurley makers and get a few of them made up like. But it's a pity that they can't do it in advance like, and store the hurleys, aisle them, linseed aisle the hurleys and put them away and give them a year and a half. Like they'd be better seasoned hurleys like, and they wouldn't be as fresh to break like. But saying that, like, they have their own type of hurley and they can bring it here and get it adjusted any way they want, like whichever, a bigger boss or a lighten it a bit or hoop it.
I suppose some of these stars players now in Kilmoyley will have their own specifications for their own hurleys, would they, Paddy?
Oh, they have, definitely. Shane now, for instance, like, Shane plays with an awful big boss, like, and an awful heavy hurley. I had one of them in my hand there last week, like, and by God, you nearly want a wheelbarrow to take it around with you.
I suppose there's other players that who like lighter hurleys and smaller bosses, and who like more hoops and less hoops, Paddy, doesn't it?
Yeah, they seem to be all, say, the two hoops, like, but they all seem to go, even some of them bring a hurley there, a new hurley, never played with, and they want a piece cut out of it and a new piece put in, like, makes the boss bigger and stronger and two bands in, and I suppose it adds a bit of balance to it, like.
A very important visitor to the school. We have the hurley that played in the 1891 All-Ireland final. The man who owned the hurley was from Kilmoyley. His name was Pachin Kwan. Now, in 1891, Kerry, made up of Kilmoyley and Ballyduff, they won the All-Ireland Hurling Senior Final. There were 12 players from Ballyduff and 9 players from Kilmoyley. In the first round, Kerry defeated Limerick. I'll correct that. Kerry defeated Cork. And in the final, Munster final, they defeated Limerick. And so they went to play in the All-Ireland Senior Final in Dublin. And their opponents in Dublin were Wexford. Now the game finished level. At the end of the game they were level. So they played extra time. And in extra time, Kerry defeated Wexford. But the winning goal was scored with this hurley. In the dying minutes, Pachin Kwan, down on his knees, hit the ball into the back of the net to win the All-Ireland for Kerry. And that was in 1891, 118 years ago. So like you, every Wednesday in Kilmoyley School, you practice the skills of hurling. And during the week, from Wednesday to Friday, you play the leagues. And you have your final at the Christmas holidays, and again you have a final for the summer holidays. So what you are doing is, you are continuing the tradition of hurling in Kilmoyley. Just remember that this hurley, a Kilmoyley man used it to win the All-Ireland final for Kerry in 1891. And that's what you are doing every Wednesday, Thursday and Friday in Kilmoyley School. And always give great thanks to your teachers for helping you learn the skills of hurling. So our visitor, that's our visitor to the school today, probably one of the most important visitors that ever came to Kilmoyley School. I have known this team since they came to Kilmoyley School in junior infants. And you know, right through their time in school, their skills were as good, if not better, than any of the pupils I have ever seen. But since they came on the senior scene in Kerry, like this team, they owe nothing to anybody in Kilmoyley, because they already, since 2001, they have won 5 senior county championships, and already this year they are in the semi-final of another county championship. So I mean, this team, they have proved themselves over and over again, and like, no matter what the result is against Crotta, we're going to be proud of this team for many, many years to come. In 2001, when Kilmoyley won their first county championship, it was 30 years we had to wait for. So like, there is no doubt about it, 2001 was very, very important for Kilmoyley. They lifted our hearts, they made us happy, you know, because we had reached the stage where we thought that we were never again going to win a senior final. So like 2001 was very, very important to us. Now, you're on the other side of the coin this year, we're going for our 6th county championship in this decade. So like if they win, if they defeat Cratta, which is our first, that's the first problem, but then if they make it to the final and if they win, they're going to be the only team ever that will have won 6 senior championships in 1 decade. Now, I'm not going any further than Cratta. We must beat Cratta on Friday evening, and then if we do beat Cratta, then I will talk to you about the final. But I mean, what this team has achieved, nothing will ever take from them. If we are defeated by Cratta, or if we're defeated in the final, to me they are still going to be, one of the great teams that Kilmoyley ever produced. And 2001 was important. 2009 will prove them to be the best team ever.
Was there much of a buzz around this week?
There is a great buzz. All people are talking about it and they're excited about it. But there would be a lot more excitement, or a lot more of a buzz, if it was Causeway, Ballyheigue or Belladuff or Ardfert that were meeting. There's always a rivalry between them when it comes to a semi-final or a final. Cratta are a great team. They had a great game against Ballyheigue about 2 weeks ago inside in Tralee. They're a very young team, a very lively team, and they seem to be very, very fit. But I think when it comes down to it, Kilmoyley have the experience, they have the determination, and they want to win it.
Fintan Ryan, the manager of the under-15 and under-16. Fintan, your next match now is against Nextna next Monday night. How are you going to do?
As well, I suppose Nextna, it's in under-15s. It's very hard to judge from one year to the next. We've had a very good under-16 team, and a lot of those are under-16 this year. We say Dougie Fitzell now is a great asset to the under-15s and under-16s. James Murphy, Coleman Savage, a lot of good under-15s, played 16s this year, and that experience will be good from. Plus we've a lot of lads coming up from under-14 this year now. We said the likes of Robert McGilly getting that as well, who are again very good young fellas, and John Godley, Paddy Godley, great young fellas. So it'll be good, I think, Monday night. I think we have a great chance in that, and that's the semi-final. So if we get through that, we'll be in a final after that.
You lost against Causeway earlier on the year. It must be a sucker blow too, mustn't it?
Well, it is. You like to win competitions when you're in, and we were beaten in 2 finals. We were beaten in the county final by Ballyheigue, and we were beaten in the North Kerry final by Causeway. I suppose the other side of it is, it's positive to see us getting to finals. We beat both teams. We beat, we'll say, Causeway in the county, and we beat Ballyheigue in the league. So, there's only a puck of the ball between the teams, which is good. I mean, it's much better, I think, to be contesting finals. And even if you lose them, it shows you're there and the standard is good. If you're losing in first rounds, then you'd have to be wondering, is it the panel not right, or is you doing something wrong? But at least when you're getting to a final, you're there or thereabouts, and it's good for the teams,
Like, you're on the 16 team now. Would you have many of under 15 players on that team?
We have about 5 who are not. So we have quite a strong under 15 panel. The likes of, as I said already, James McCarthy, Dougie Fitzell, Coleman Savage, Paddy O'Connor. They were all on the under 16 team. They're all on the under 15 team as well. You've got Peter Crow. Just looking around, Peter Crow and Florence McCarthy. Owen McCarthy again. Owen is under 14, playing under 16 and under 15 as well. Florence playing under 15 and under 16. It's a great experience for these lads to get those games.
Like at under 16 level, because in 3 to 4 years' time, they'll make senior level. So it's so important now at this stage in their career that they get proper training and proper coaching, isn't it, Fintan?
Well, it's important, I think, for 2 reasons. First of all, at 16s and 17s, what you want to do, you want to keep them playing the game, and you want to develop their skills, and that's the most important thing. I think if they don't win even, it's important that they're playing and they're enjoying it. It can turn off young fellas very quickly as well. I think so. Our role at 15 and 16 is to make sure that when they go out of that, they still have a love of the game and they've learned skills as they're going along. Sometimes if they win too much at 15s and 16s, they lose interest because they think they have the job done. So you're better off at times if they come out there.
Kilmoyley is a very special place. I came down here 3 years ago and didn't quite know what to expect. Hurling in Kerry, I couldn't quite imagine what it was all about. But you're not here long, you realise that North Kerry is very special. It is true hurling country. And you realise in that context that Kilmoyley is a very special place. It's a rural community, but everybody has a great sense of belonging and a very important sense of what is right and what is necessary. And it's great to see a young generation like the lads in that hurling team, the way they identify with the older members of the club, they identify with the history of the club, they identify with the kids at the school and how the kids at the school look up to them, and the sense of responsibility that brings, that they have to carry the flag on behalf of this parish. 'Tis something that in other clubs you try to to generate that in any team you're involved in. But it's something that's innate and natural to the people here in Kilmoyley. And I think that's what sets them apart, and I think that's what sets this team apart. And if I may say so, I think it's one of the reasons that the likes of Anthony, and I would say myself, I've had much lesser involvement than Anthony, but I think it's what brings you back. It's that sense of you belong to something special. And I think that's what Kilmoyley have, and hopefully that's what we'll see next Friday, and we'll see for the rest of the championship. And if we do, Kilmoyley are the best hurling team in North Kerry, and they should and will go on and win the championship.
Team lined up as follows. On the Kilmoyley team. Number 20, Sean Wizard, replaces number 4, Ian Brick.
This is a big stepping stone now, beating Cratty in the semi-final. Now, you're waiting now for the result tomorrow night, obviously, but it was tough enough there in parts of the match, wasn't it?
Yeah, like, James, for us, it was all about the start, and every point we got, and, got the first 4 or 5 scores, and then the old goal came, and I suppose, at that stage, really, it's game over. If we tag on a few points before half-time, Cratty are going to find it hard enough to score, but, it was a slobbery enough second-half performance by us. But, when you're 16 ahead at half-time, what do you say at bloody half-time when you try and keep going? And fellas, no doubt, fellas are thinking ahead to a final at that stage, and you're basically trying to keep focused, and obviously we needed to have a look at a few lads as well as regards subs and that, so we did that, and the Bricks are carrying a few injuries, so it's just all about just getting to the final. That's the main thing. Over at half time, and no disrespect to Cratty, they have a very young team and they plugged away right to the bitter end. Fair play to them. They got 3 goals and more luck to them for it, and I hope they stay with it, and that's what Kerry Hurling needs, is they have a few good promising young lads there, and hopefully they'll stay with it. But the match was over. There was no worry, really we need to give fellas match time. Shani Mansell, a bit unlucky to be dropped, so he needed to get a run there. Sean Griffin, probably our 7th defender for the last couple of years, he needed game time. So on PR, everyone knows what PR brings to the picture. So no, I wouldn't say we were gambling. Niall Young is gone from intermediate now after coming on against Ballyduff, so he was entitled to get his game as well.
Your senior players really stood out today, didn't they, Anthony?
Yeah, I wouldn't be getting too carried away with it, you know what I mean? I mean, we were a stronger outfit than Crotta, and I wouldn't read too much into today. I'd really be trying to put it behind us as quickly as we can and concentrate on the final, because like, people getting carried away with today, a waste of time. Like, you know, we played Ballyhige here 2 years ago, and I think we won by 12 or 13 points in a desperate bad game, and it was absolutely useless to us for the final. So that's not much good to us either today, except that we were slobbery in the second half and have to try and learn from that. And look, it's all about 3 weeks' time now, and that's all. Well, let's see who comes through tomorrow evening and just focus totally 3 weeks. 27th of September, that's the only day that counts now for lads.
Mike, you've been treasurer for the last 30 years here in the Kilmoyley Hurling Club. It must have been a lot of pressure on you sometimes.
Well, it does, James, all right. I'm kind of, when people see me coming at the stage now, they said he's here for the money, Mahan is here for the money. And in fairness to people, they are good, like, but a headache at this stage, James, is a labour of love. Even though I'm 30 years at it and I'm supposed to be resigning this year, which I am doing, I have enjoyed my 30 years here and have had fair satisfaction from it.
When they came up with the idea of a new pitch in Kilmoyley, that must have been fierce pressure for you altogether, trying to raise that amount of money. How do you go about it first day?
Well, prior to that, it was easy to find money for a club because it was a low budget club up till then, and we were playing off of any fee that was available. But when the land became available, we had to knuckle down and find the money, and Donna offered us bingo at the time, and we took up the option and set up a sports field committee who worked very hard and raised serious money at the time.
At that stage now, like, money wasn't very plentiful at that stage. Did you have to go outside the county to raise money?
Well, we didn't actually go outside the county until 2000. We had a competition between two prominent ladies in the parish called the Millennium Lady, and we collected money outside. We went to Clare, Limerick, Cork, and collected serious money that time. That was 2000, and that helped clear our debt with the bank and the facilities here, the stand and that kind of thing, finished that time.
With so many teams in a hurling club, between buses and this and so forth, it must be hard to try to keep them all going and trying to get money in to cover those costs.
It is, but the parish are good to us. The parents recognise that the children are getting value out of it. They bring their children here, and there are trainers here and people to look after them. And when we go looking for money, they are respondent as well, and that's basically it.
Now, Mike, you're finishing up this year after 30 years. Are you relieved or disappointed?
Well, when I say I'm finishing up, I'm not going away from the club. No one should ever do that. Like that would be a mistake for anyone. I intend to stay involved, but let someone else at this stage now take over the serious job. Yeah.
So you'll maintain the club, so?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I won't be going anywhere. I'm not going away, but as treasurer, I am stepping down, but I will be seen here. Yeah.
A bit unfortunate the last 2 years though, in that I've been studying and I've been away from Kilmoyley a lot, and living in Limerick and that, it's been difficult to be around. So now that I'm actually fixed in Kilmoyley, I'm hoping to, make a better job as secretary and to find out more about the job, to be honest, because I haven't really had the chance the last 2 years, but I'm hoping this will be the year now that I get to find out more about the job and really make an input. Maybe sometimes, alright, you might be trying to hear your voice and it mightn't be as well heard as a male voice, but that's something that has to change. But I don't think it makes much of a difference, to be quite honest. I mean, there's been women in this club for a long time. I mean, I'm the first secretary, but I'm definitely not the first woman in the club. There's Fionnuala Moran, Agnes Godley, many other women that have been deeply involved in the club for many years before me. So I might be the first female secretary, but I'm definitely not the first female to be involved in the club.
I played my first match at Kilmoyley was back in around 62 or 63. I was 10 or 11 years of age at the time. I suppose at that time, that was around the time of the great Kilmoyley 3-in-a-row team, senior team. And I had great memories of that senior team. Likes of Sean Lovett, Declan Lovett, John Flanagan, Patsy Connor, all them great men whom I played senior hurling with in later years. It was 1970 we won our senior championship then. Very good team 1970. Very good team. But the county final went late and played until November. And the field was in bad condition for a county final. But we got through it and we won it. We scraped home alright, like. I remember the 71 county final against Aberdeen. It was a fine Sunday in September. And Father Morris got the first point of the game. And I got the second point, I know that. But scores were hard to come by. Marking was tight and it was tough. But Declan Lovett, I think, got a few scores from frees. Aberdeen were hurling well, but we were still that point or two ahead all the time. Aberdeen had a good team, Jack Condon, Tom Lyons, Johnny Glavin, all these guys, they were all good hurlers. Tom Carney, who had played with Kilmoyley some previous years before that. But the match was very well refereed by Dennis P. O'Sullivan from Kilgarvan. But Dennis P. said after the game that there was need of a referee. For the cleanest match that was ever played inside National Stacks Park. There wasn't a dirty stroke by any side. And people still tell you today about that game of hurling. It was a good game. But it was great for us. There was 4 of us on the team, Mike being the captain, like. I suppose this is the first time in Kilmoyley that there has been 4 brothers on the winning Kilmoyley team and 1 being the captain. Well, it wasn't done since 1971, and I don't think there was anyone before that. So it's a kind of a record on itself, like. But after 71 then, Mike and Pat, they went to New York in 72. They came back from New York after 6 months, and in 73 they went to Chicago. So they played hurling in Chicago with the Limerick Hurling Club there. There they played the remainder of their years in Chicago. Unfortunately, in December 86, Mike died sudden in Chicago. And in memory of Mike, the Kilmoyley Hurling Club has honoured the dressing rooms in his name, and we thank him for that.
Now I'm speaking to Sean Joseph O'Connor, author of Kilmoyley to the Rescue. Sean, was it difficult to write that book?
No, actually it was not. I enjoyed every moment of it. I took my time with it, 10 or 12 years, part-time of course. I never thought actually I would be writing it. I always thought that the late Sean Lovett would do it. But then, as so happened, poor Sean was taken from us suddenly, and it dawned on me shortly after his death that possibly if there was nobody else to do it, that maybe I should try it myself. And I rang up John Martin Brick and I told him, and he was delighted. He promised me all the support and help that he could give me. I went around to the older people in the parish. I had known them, having lived there for the early part of my life, and I was made very welcome in all their houses. I got the utmost cooperation. After that, I went to the local library and checked out the old newspapers. And while I suppose this would be quite boring to a lot of people, it wasn't to me. I enjoyed it. And there was no greater thrill than to find something in the newspapers that you thought you would never find. I will give just one example. The Temperance Hall in Kilmoyley, which is no longer there, I had found out from newspaper reports when it was built. Everybody told me it was burnt, and all the instruments of the band were burnt in it as well. But people had only a rough idea as to when. And I like to do things accurately, and make sure that they are accurate, because what you put in print, whether it's accurate or inaccurate, it will be quoted in years to come. So if it's inaccurate, the mistake will be multiplied over and over again. Well, I wasn't succeeding in finding out when it was burnt, but I kept in touch with several people, John Martin Brick, Tom Carroll of Snipehill, for example, and I told them like what I was looking for. And Tom Carroll accidentally was speaking to a neighbour who told him, naming a lady who had an 80th birthday party shortly before that incident in Banner Beach Hotel. And the man was telling him, not knowing that I was looking for anything, and she said she was born the night the hall was burnt. Tom Carroll straight away found out when the lady was 80 years of age, rang me up, gave me the date. Within a day or two I went up to the county library here in Town, and working on that date, got up the newspaper, the Kerryman, and lo and behold, within a minute they had 5 or 6 lines saying under the heading Temperance Hall burnt. The date was the 16th of May, the feast of St. Brendan. It was the greatest thrill I ever got, because I didn't had a closing date as well as an opening date for the Temperance Hall. But I then, as well as going to and meeting all the elderly people in the parish, especially former players, and going to the newspapers, I had to contact former players and friends of mine in the other parishes in North Kerry, and they were also very helpful. But all in all, I enjoyed the whole thing down to the ground.
Now, there was some fantastic parts in the book, Sean, but one that stands out to me was, because I remember the man from when I was a young fellow myself, was Cal Kwan. He was a gentleman, wasn't he, Sean?
He was another gentleman, a great sportsman, a very skillful hurler, and another gentleman. And when his playing days were over, in his playing days when Kilmoyley hadn't got a team, he played with the Pierces with Kilfren and won medals with him. He told me one time himself that he took 7 frees in one particular game and scored 6 of them. He finished up on the 1948 team playing in goals. Obviously he could play in any position on the field. He was that skilled a hurler. He then, when he retired from hurling, he devoted his attention to the youth, minor and underage teams, and he was very popular with them because he was a gentleman. He never used strong language. He was very sensitive as regards young people. He wouldn't hurt their feelings, and on the sideline when the game was in progress there would be a crowd of 7 or 8 young fellas around him, and if some fella on the pitch wasn't playing very well, he'd be very careful of how he took him off and replaced him, and he'd call him aside, Johnny, come over here, and then he'd say, using a term that was well known then in Kilmoyley because of the farming background, Johnny, just tied the heel up your car, because that would create a bit of a laugh, and he'd nod at some other fella who wants to go on and take his place. A great story about Cal's father with the late Pat Kwan, the man who scored the winning goal on the Ballyduff team in 1891 to win Kerry's only hurling All Ireland. At night when the crowds used to gather, even in more recent times in Callahan's house, lads would say, Patchin, tell us how you scored that great goal. And straight away he'd stand up, take the hurley down from over the fireplace, take a half-burnt sort of turf out of the fire, put it on the floor, kneel down, going one way the same way as he was when he got that famous goal, and let fly with the hurley, driving sparks and bits of turf flying around the house to the great delight of the crowd looking on. As regards his name, I found out from the late Mike Horton how he got his name of Callahan, and then for short was called Cal. A traveller man in Pointing Car called to the house one day. Pacini's father was a shoemaker, and offered to take the young fella of 10 years of age for a drive, which he did, back to Ballymacqueen Cross, down to Ballyhige, back around Kerryhead. In some shop he stopped and he bought a few sweets that were cheap then for the 10-year-old young fella, and brought him back home. And the young fella had such a delightful day that for weeks after he never stopped speaking about the tinker man whose name was Callahan, with the result that his father Pat Sheen christened him Callahan, and it stuck to him to the day he died.
Now, I'm speaking to Michael Curran, the captain of the Kilmoyley team of 1962. I suppose, Mike, there's a few stories behind that team.
Well, I suppose, James, there is, because as a very young fella at 19 years of age, I was elected captain of Kilmoyley Seniors in 62, and we had a great run through, and we won the North Kerry League, beating Arfert in the final, and we duly met in the county final at a later date in December, and it was a great honour for me to lead Kilmoyley onto the field on that day. But during the first half I got injured, a severe injury to my knee, and at half time I had to be replaced. So at that stage it was thought that I might have to go to hospital to get it looked after, and I was asked if I was not there who would accept the cup on my behalf, and I nominated Sean Lovett. Now, contrary to reports, I was present when the final whistle blew, and I duly said to Sean, look, my leg is sore, I don't want to be put up on anybody's shoulders, you go up and collect the cup for me, but she did. And that is the story of 62. I retired at the end of 1970, and the club went on to win again in 71, bring after 2 in a row. So we had a long way to think after that, 30 years for the next one.
Mike, what do you think of this present bunch of players in Kilmoyley?
What would I say? They're a great bunch of players. They have given great commitment to the club. They have trained hard over the years under different trainers, and they're a credit to the club. And they have had great success. Now, it was a pity that the 5 in a row didn't come off, I suppose, because like the Kerry footballers long ago, it would take a great team to achieve that again in years to come, but things happened, and it didn't happen in the day, like, you know. And yeah, as you say, they are a great bunch of hurlers, and they've given great dedication to the club.
Now, Mike, after you retired in 1970, you still stayed involved with the club, didn't you?
Yeah, I took a break for a number of years, and in 1982 I was asked to come back into the minor side of the club, and I got involved with the under 14 teams and the under 12 teams, and had great success. I was selected in 85 when we lost the semi-final of the Féile in Wexford by 1 point. The following year in 86 we lost heavily in the semi-final, but then in 87 we had our moment of glory when I trained the team that won the All-Ireland Féile at under 14 at the Michael Cusick Trophy. Ian Brick was captain on the day, and himself and Paddy Regan, I think, are the 2 survivors from that team that's still involved with the senior team. I suppose I had a long time with the club, and I suppose my final memory would be that I was involved with the original 7 that purchased the field in Lerrig and opened it. And after that, I think I kind of slid away and left other people carry on from where I left off, and that was it. So I think overall I enjoyed my time with Kilmoyley Hurling Club, and down the years we had great days and we had bad days, and I suppose we had arguments and we had disappointments and things like that, you know, but everything worked out well in the end for me as far as I was concerned anyway.
Well, I started playing with the minors at 16 and moved on up along to the seniors at 18. I won my first championship medal with the seniors at 18 years of age in 1962.
Well, I suppose that time there was no dressing rooms or...
Oh, not a thing in the world. Only go out and take off your clothes near the bottom of the ditch over in Bricksfield. That's where we did all our training.
Who was your trainer that time, John?
Mickey Joe McGrath, great trainer. Oh, he was a great man to massage the whole lot. He was brilliant.
He met Killarney in 1970 in the final, John, didn't he?
That's right. A very bad day it was the same day. We beat Killarney 3 points in a very good game, tough match. The field, you just go down to the knees in it. It was so wet. But Kilmoyley, John Martin got a great goal that same day as well.
And of course, he met Aberdeen the year after, 1971, in the final as well.
Oh yeah, we met Aberdeen, and it was a lovely day that particular day. But it was a very good final. Good hard hurling, and we just came out on top by 2 points, I think, in the finish.
John, you've got an All-Ireland junior medal as well, haven't you, John?
That's right. I was just lucky to captain him the same year, because I was the only fellow from Kilmoyley. There wasn't too many from Kilmoyley on the team, So we went over to Glebe Farm in Warwickshire and beat Warwickshire over in Glebe Farm, which was a good match. But we were minutes to go and we were down 4 points, and I scored 2 goals in the last 4 minutes and we won by a point or 2.
John, that's a very old looking medal on the wall.
Yes, that's right. Kerry won. Oh, that was belonged to a grandfather of mine. He owned that. I got the medal when they passed away, and I put in the medals with my own, medals, and kept it ever since. There was 2 crans on that team, Jackie here and Patchine behind Callahan's father. And by what we've heard, there was 9 from Kilmoyley and 12 from Belladuff on the team.
I suppose I was 7 or 8 years of age. We used to be poking around the yard at home, and then we used to be going across the road to the Royals and our own little field, you know, playing away, and young lads tipping and poking, and then Tiggy and Kwan then took us over and got a juvenile team, and we used to be going out to Tiggy, and he was next thing then he started. The funds were low, and he said he'd send away for hurleys to Howard's in Cork, and he'd have a collection, and then always when the hurleys had come, they'd come up to Stubridge Station. You see, we'd go up on a pony car and asking car from her, bring him down, and we'd be all looking for the good hurleys, and there'd be in the bungalow hurleys, there'd be a few old bad ones, of course, you see. And God knows he got smart, he'd put a name in everyone, a number, no name and no number, and we'd have to go by the number, we'd have to take the bad one with the good one, you see. Then that was alright. Then next in the Schlitters were getting scarce, and Kelly was persecuting them, sawing balls every day for us, and getting lost in the wet and everything. And next thing he started making them. He got 3 cocks and out of the buckle away in a whiskey that time as well, and started rounding them around with trade. You see, next thing then got him down to Callahan to make him. That were tread balls, I say. And he was saying, if you throw the balls to each other, then was saying, Tiggy was saying, glam it, me all, glam it, and you would have to catch the balls in the hand, and it was good for the young lad in order to practice, and then. So that when we grow, we went after the minors, the juveniles that time, and then we came on to the minors. And Nicky McGrath took us over then. And we struck right luck, we won the minor championship in 53. I say we beat Killarney inside in the town, Callahan was training us, and Willie Griffin. And it was played in the 20th of August. Our wet evening, our Thursday evening, I never forget it. Side Nashton Stacks. And there we were. That was our first big win, like. I was captain in 64, I did right. We were playing Lixnair that day. It was Sunday, it was out in September, I think. And yeah, we were nearly over at half time. Kilmoyley were 2-11 to point. When we thought we had won, but we got a desperate fright. And wound up that we were nearly beat. It wound up that Kilmoyley were 4-14 to 5-5. That much of a difference in that, I can't make it up now, but everything is standing here from us. So that's all I know, that we came on to Arthurt and we went down to Piggy Max and we had a few drinks to came on to Arthurt, and there was no talk at that time. And they straight for the house and got milking our cows and come away home. And get up again the following morning, and that was about it.
Sure, James, you can't make the days any quicker than they actually will go. So I suppose these few days are tense for everybody, especially players, because you're really dying for Sunday. You would normally be wishing your life away, but these few days you would be wishing your life away. And they're hard enough old days to put down, even at work and that, because your fellas are talking to you about it and that. I suppose the Kerry footballers would have been a bit of distraction to a lot of the public. They won't be focusing on the hurling for another day or two maybe. So just the thoughts are that we're very fortunate to be injury free, number one. Like normally in the week coming up to a big game, you're nearly concerned with somebody anyway, sometimes more than one. in terms of a hamstring or something like that. So we've a clean bill of health, which is great, because we played 2 matches over the last 2 weekends and good matches, and came through both of them well. So yeah, just hopefully that we'll have our heads right now. That's our thoughts, and it's all about our heads, and remembering how good we could be last year when our heads were right, and how poor we were 2 years ago when our heads were wrong. No matter what papers say, no matter what bookies say, it's just one outside in the field to play, and every ball has to be contested like tis the last ball in your life, and that's what wins and loses county finals, not talking papers or talking pubs or anywhere else. It's one out in the field to play, and that's what's needed.
Would agree that these lads are probably in the best shape they've been since we started coming down here 3 years ago. You were always a little bit nervous that they seem to be going that well. We played good challenge games. We look very loose and fit and agile, and we're playing a nice brand of hurling. And if we can bring that game to the game on Sunday, we should be able to cross the line and get a victory. I think it should be a factor. It should be a factor particularly early on, particularly when a game tends to be a bit fragmented and broken up. Fellas have been there before, and they know what to do, and they know they can settle into the game hopefully quicker than the opposition. However, if the game is still in the balance with 20 minutes to go, it's often the team that wants to win it most and has the greater hunger for the game at that point in time that'll show through. So experience is a benefit, of course it is, but experience alone will not win the day for us.
Now, Morris, you defeated Nixna. How does it feel to be in another final?
James, it's good, being honest with you now. The boys did okay the weekend. There's a few things we can work on. It's great to be in a final, and in a minor final against Ballyduff, I suppose that's a bit special, because Ballyduff will always have a good team, as I hope our lads will be up to the task. Like, we had a good match against Lixna, and we played well at times, which we slipped a bit and we left them back into it. We kind of made hard work of it, and I can't wait for it, being honest with you, because we've been there now the last 2 years in the trot, but the Kilmoyley's record in the minors the last 10 years is absolutely phenomenal. We've been in 7 minor county finals, I think, and in the 10 years, I think we've only failed once to get to semi-finals. So it's a record that we have to keep up, and I know there's a lot of push and drive, but they're all young, in fairness to them now. They'll give it their best, and if it isn't good enough in the night, look, we can't do anything about that. And we have good subs to bring on, and I'm delighted that we have subs, because we have a couple of lads taking a few knocks there now over the weekend, so we need our subs to be right as well, James.
It was the earlier goals in the first half that I suppose created the base for our victory. Up 7 or 8 points at half time. We knew that Lixna would always come back at us, and true to their traditional style they did, and made things hard enough for us in the second half.
Yeah, in the start of the second half there, I think Kilmoyley lost their concentration a small little bit, but they soon regained it, didn't they, John?
Well, they did. I don't know whether it is a little failing we have or not with this particular team, but we seem to, take the lead and by a good few points, and then we seem to leave teams back into a game. So obviously this would not be good enough for our final against Ballyduff on Sunday. We need the concentration for the 60 minutes.
Now, of course, Ballyduff now are a different kettle of fish altogether. They're a different team, different style, everything. They'll be a lot harder than Nixna.
Ballyduff will be harder. I saw their semi-final against Causeway. It was a good hard game. Again, it was a game that was there for either team to win it right up to the last few minutes. Ballyduff are tough, but it has to be said that we played a challenge game recently against Mayfield in Cork, and Ballyduff would be no tougher or no difficult than Mayfield were. So I mean, the boys have been prepared well, and it's up to them.
Kilmoyley, as long as I can remember going away back to the great Mickey McGrath's team, Sean Lovett's, Willie Leary, coming on along, Declan Lovett onto the present day, and I think this present team is the best team I have seen.
So it's a Kilmoyley and Arfert final. How do you think that will fare out?
I suppose that the final that a pile of people would want to see, and it will be a good final. Arfert, when they met last year in the semi-final, I think, and give them all they could do to beat Arfert, and I'm sure Arfert will have improved. But if Arfert have improved, I think Kilmoyley have also improved, and I think Kilmoyley would field the best team they ever field, I think, when they meet Arfert in the final.
like it's been now nearly 45, 46 years since Arfert and Kilmoyley met in the final. It's been in the early 60s when they last met. I mean, a lot of things have changed since then.
They have, I suppose, but still Kilmoyley are there or thereabouts every year since, and any team that'll beat Kilmoyley would be a great team. But I think Kilmoyley, this is the best team I have seen for Kilmoyley, I think, in my lifetime.
And do you think bringing an outside manager in from another county, with experience like Anthony Daly, obviously he's been training and managing the Dublin team this year already, do you think it's a massive advantage to any team to have that kind of a manager in place?
Oh, sure, of course it is. If you only just stood in the sports field here any evening that you would see Anthony Daly and the respect he has for Kilmoyley and the respect Kilmoyley have for him, they'd just do anything that he'd ask them to do, they'd do it. And they're going to prove it in the final.
What do you think of Kilmoyley so far this year?
Well, I suppose early on there, James, a lot of the lads there in Kilmoyley, they were involved with the senior setup, the Kerry senior setup. There was, for a lot of time, there was 12 people involved, 12 players involved, and as a hurling officer, I must, they've shown me great support and loyalty since I became a hurling officer the last 2 years, and that took up a lot of our time, and the lads were you know, got a lot of work done early on there, and then the lads that were, you know, that weren't making it were getting a lot of games in the North Kerry League and whatever, and reached the final of the North Kerry League and won it after a replay with Aberdeen, which was a tough encounter here in Lerry, like, you know, in Kilmoyley, sorry, and that put him in good stead then for the county league. Then was run in a basis that was seeded, that the top teams in the county league would be seeded for the championship draw, and yeah, we lost the game here against Lixnaw, which was, the lads weren't going great at the evening now, to tell the truth, and but I'd say since then, like, they have been going, you know, it has improved greatly since then, and you know, that was just an evening when you know, just give the trainer a chance to go and get a right go at him for a couple of weeks, you know. So since then, like, it has been, you know, that they have been improving. Thinking that week, you know, Arfert would have got through from the other side as well, but you know, I mean, only at half time that game there was little or not in it, but Arfert seemed to up the ante altogether in the second half, and they pulled away, like, and you know, I think, like, it's going to be a real battle, like, for the final, and of course the one parish, it's going to add a little bit, but you know, you've got to say, it's just at the end of the day, it's just you got to win the game, whatever comes after that. You know, that's a different story. The most important thing is it's just another game to Kilmoyley, and they just at the end of the 63 or 4 minutes, they just have to be out and ahead, and that'll do.
It's a way more exciting when our son is playing, like. I mean, it's a great honour to have our son playing with such a great team, like. But of course, there's way more pressure, of course, there's way more tension, and way more excited, like, but it's great, honestly, I'm not. I think this Kilmoyley team are as good as they ever were. They're training hard. They have won a tough game against Ballyduff. Okay, the Carter game wasn't a great challenge, but they had to go out there and they had to win it, and they won it well. So now they're in the county final against Arfert. Arfert are a good team. But I think Kilmoyley a way more balanced team, a lot of experience there, and I reckon they're a better team than Arfert. I reckon that they'd beat Arfert by 4 or 5 points.
Well, like, it's 45 or 6 years ago since we met Arfert in the county final. It's a long time. You asked an answer to your question, part of my thoughts, it will be a great game, it will be very close. I give it a 50-50 rating. At Arfert, the young team, they have good hurlers. But still now, I think our boys have the experience, and hopefully we'll pull it off.
So what do you think of this present bunch of players in Kilmoyley?
I'm not sure the present team, like, the game is so fast now, like, at the moment. They're in all Kilmoyley teams, like, there wouldn't be a patch on the present team. This must be the greatest Kilmoyley team of all time, like. I mean, so, like, we have 7, we're going for 6 championships, like, in 9 years, or where do you go after that?
Yeah, love it. Father, every year you come home, you support the Kilmoyley team.
Oh, I do indeed, James, because, you know, I played with the Kilmoyley team. many years ago, you know. In fact, one of my great enjoyments was playing in the county final in 1964, and we beat Lixna, at least, when Sean, my brother Sean, and Declan was playing that same day. And it's interesting that the chairman of the club now, Sean Monan, today, he was just a young boy. I think he was about 18, and he had a great game that day. So, but ever since then, you know, Kilmoyley is part of my life. I mean, I go to Seattle every year. I come home almost every year. But I have two homes, if you will. Seattle is very close to me. That's where I do my work as a priest. But Kilmoyley is where my heart is all the time. And it's a great place. I love it very much. And it's wonderful to have that interest watching the boys play so well. This is an exceptional group of kids. I call them kids. They're young men. But it's marvelous to see them do so well. You know, ever since they broke that, what would I call it, a kind of a curse that was on them. I watched them out in the field just a moment ago, and they're giving their all under a great coach, of course, Anthony Daly, and I hope that they do well, you know, and as I say, I won't make the county final. I won't be here for it, but every year I get a broadcast of it most of the time, and if not, I'll certainly get the video of the game afterwards. Yeah.
Number 14, Daniel Collins. Number 14, Timothy O'Brien. And number 15, Sean Nolan. The referee.
Oh, great win, James. The boys, like, they give everything all the year. Like, I think Tommy there accepting the trophy. Like, John Moyler came down like a couple of nights a week, and in fairness, he just instilled that bit confidence. You know, like, they probably mightn't listen to me, or they would listen to me. Do you know? But that extra step, that extra person, extra brain, whatever. Man, you're a great Ballyduff team. I told you that, James. A great Ballyduff team and a great side. They'll battle. They're great players. Absolutely, to a man, they're great players. And how can you fault them? In fairness, the boys tried. They stuck to the game plan. Maybe for 5-10 minutes it wasn't pretty, but Jesus, they did, James. I'm absolutely delighted.
They played brilliant. I think that even though that one was easy enough, they could have won by a lot more as well. Like there was a few scores there, went to big and a few goals maybe, but at the same time it was a mighty win for Kilmoyley.
Mighty, John. Thanks. Tommy, what a fantastic win, Tommy.
This was a great win. We were training hard all year. The first one there against South Kerry, they're a very good team. We were lucky to beat them by a couple of points like there in the last 2 minutes. But thankfully we got it there in the end eventually.
Ballyduff, very good start, hadn't they?
Oh, Ballyduff, very good. We came in here expecting to win nothing today. You know, we weren't too confident. We were just come play hurling like take it as any other game. So it's just a better team in the day, I suppose.
That was a fantastic comeback by Kilmoyley in the second half.
Oh, it was. We were down by 5 points at one stage. Keep the heads like and all go alright like at the end of the day.
Congratulations.
It's something of our things.
I'm delighted with the attitude of the lads there. You know, we had a bad first 10 minutes, like we conceded a soft goal, a couple of sloppy frees, a couple of sloppy points. But after that, like I'd said, our work rate was excellent for the first 10 minutes. We just weren't converting the scores. But after that, then, you know, Luke went to centre forward, up there. Young Collins dying with the flu all week. So, but again, he chipped in, and Vincent Savage was excellent. So, you know, and they're young, and you know, like if we can get one or two of those, you know, get him through to senior next year. You know, Tommy Mansell, he's only 17. Edward Griffin, a lot to learn still. But if we can get one or two through to the senior team next year, that's our job done.
It just got to show, John, that hard training does pay.
Well, not so much hard training, but hard training mixed with attitude and mixed with commitment. And those guys have great attitude and they've great commitment. They've given me 100% since I started, you know, the first evening. And I'm absolutely delighted with them. You know, this is, of all the counties I've won in Kilmoyley, this might be one of the best of them. You know, they're lovely. They listen, they learn, they do what you tell them. Young Luke Fitzel, young Dougie, Ray Barrett, they just do what you tell them to, and it's a joy to work with them.
John, Kilmoyley came out on their own in the second half.
Yeah.
They were a bit slow starting off in the first half.
First 10 minutes, I said a sloppy goal. Joe let in a sloppy goal. But after that, then we settled down, and like I knew that we were all right because our attitude was there, our work ethic was there, and we were building up, and we got some nice scores. We should have got a few more with a few wides in the first half. Second half, then we were all over Ballyduff really, and I had no fear at all really in the second half there, you know.
Back of their minds was the defeat of last year, you know, and we had 13 of that team playing again today, and when we came in here at half time, 6 points all, it was anybody's game really. But I felt in the last 10 minutes of the first half we were beginning to establish, we were beginning to win vital contests through the field, and even though we weren't turning them into scores, we at least came in on level terms at half time and played some lovely hurling in the second half, and indeed I suppose we missed some scores as well.
It was a great, clean and very skillful game on John Martin.
Oh, it was, yes. And the work rate was very good. You'd have to say, you know, our half forward line covering back, our midfield covering back, and they were all helping one another. You know, an overall team performance, you'd have to say.
It was a great game. I was delighted for the young fellas because they put in a great effort all the year under John Moyler.
Now, John Moyler, speaking about John Moyler, he's a great asset to Kilmoyley, isn't he?
Oh, sure, he is unbelievable. Any time that Kilmoyley go out to play, John Moyler's name is brought down as well. So he's a fantastic asset to the club.
Now, Kilmoyley started slow in the first half, but they came into their own in the second half.
They hurled well the first half, I thought, but I don't know, that was just, you know, minors, a game like that, that's what happens in minor games, I think. You know, you play well, and then you go out of it and come back into it. But I thought they played fantastic hurling in the second half. And it was great to see him winning it. I'm delighted for them.
Now, one down and one to go.
That's for sure.
How will the next match go, Mike?
Oh, I think our experience will take it. I hope so anyway.
Thank you, Mike.
Right, thank you.
Now this evening, starting at 6:45 from Ballinstowe Cross.
Yeah, fantastic win. Now we knew it was going to be hard. Probably the goal before half time was the key moment, like, you know, give us a bit of breathing space half time and start second half well again. So we're delighted with the win now. Delighted with the win.
But the last 10 minutes there, Arthur came back into the small bit.
They did, of course. Like, they got a couple of goals, like, you know, and they were always going to be like that, you know. So there was always fighting them, like, you know. But thanks be to God, we come out on top at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Like,
standing off, they were super, absolutely, and to win the double, my God, on the say as well, was it brilliant altogether. Words can't describe. It's unreal altogether, because I thought they'd put it up them there in the second half, but sure, they had no answer for them. Sure, our lads hurled well, kept hurling, and they were outstanding.
Brilliant altogether, yeah, brilliant. The team definitely deserves it. Brilliant effort put in all year. You see the excitement here. It means so much, I suppose, the pride of the parish. Definitely very important for us to win today. It would, I suppose, our last five wouldn't have been as important if we lost today. So very, very important to try and stay on top of the ladder. And thanks be to God, we're there for another day anyway. Brilliant, brilliant.
2 records broke today, Ian.
I don't care. The only record we're interested in now is having the championship, and hopefully now we can go on the Munster Championship and give a good account of ourselves, because it's long overdue, to be fair. So we have few weeks now to settle down, and hopefully it'll work out. But records is brilliant, brilliant as well.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, great, James. Delighted. Micheál above getting the cup now. That's what we wanted, you know. That was our dream from the start of the year. So, fair play team. No better man.
Kilmoyley had a good start there, but Arthur came back into there in the later second half.
Yeah, you're talking about me there. We're very ignorant. Yeah, we were a bit slow to get going, but delighted. You know, it's all about a victory in a final. All about a victory in the final, you know. So in fairness, the goal before half time I suppose was crucial for us, you know. It gave us that bit of breathing space and with the wind, and you know, so happy to win, that's all. The finals are about winning.
Now, Kilmoyley broke 2 records today. That's very important, and there'll be no team for an awful long time that will do that.
Yeah, we tried not to mention it, James, in the build-up because, you know, sometimes the weight of history can be, you know, funny on fellas. So, I mean, they made history with six titles in the decade, and you know, the 22nd championship, like, you know, it was always in the back of fellas' minds, but we tried not to mention it. So, but great, and the minors to win as well. Great day for the club. Great club, sure, great hurling club, and great to get the reward for it. Then when they're putting it in, like
Arthur put up a good show already, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd say they've improved a ton. In fairness to Mark, I'd say over them there, you can see their hurling is coming on. But maybe we figured there might be a football element to it, you know, and if we could close down the space, and they'd make mistakes trying to hand pass it to each other, and I think that worked out for a good few of our scores. But look, we're a bit slobbery at the end, giving away 2 stupid goals. But look, we're trying to eradicate that now. And like this year, we're 5 weeks to Munster now, and I'd really love to have a cut at Munster. I just thought we were caught a bit last year, not ready, and we'll be ready this year and have to go down to Cork again. Like, but I tell you, we'll be ready to give it a good shot.
History in the making, yeah. We got a tough game. We were delighted with the game we got. It was a nice clean game, but it's nice to make history. There was history made in a couple of occasions. I think it's the time that there was a Kerry double done, minor and senior. You have your 22 championships, which is history. You have 6 in the decade, which is history. So they're 3-1 for the history books.
All this hype all last couple of weeks, they were saying it's going to be a very, very close match and all that, and in the end, they won comfortably.
Well, I think, well, we were saying it was going to be a close game. I think I predicted maybe 10 points in our first right during the week. A lot of people thought I was, but we won by the 10 anyway, I think. Yeah.
Great match, yeah, great win. Worked hard for it all year. I suppose Daly came down there at the end of August, but prior to that, Tom Howard had put in a serious amount of groundwork, you know. So by the time Anthony came down, you know, it was just a case of tightening things up and getting the touching and all that. You know, there was a lot of work done prior to that, so it's a great win, great win.
It just goes to show, Billy, that hard work, hard training does pay off.
Well, it does. Like I know Artford would have trained very hard for this, you know, and on the day, like, I suppose we got off to a good start, you know, from the up. You know, we got a few early scores, settled the team, and then again the second half, Morris scored a great long range point, and it settled us again, you know. So I suppose the experience as well as the hard work, you know, once they come together, it all works out.
For Kilmoyley today, and ever more special for you being captain.
It was a great day, of course. It was nice that all minors won, and it was nice to be back in again on top, thank God.
It kind of made hard work down the end of it.
And we didn't make hard work so much. I think we probably didn't get on top maybe in the first 20 minutes we'd hoped to, but I think the goal before half time really set us off for a second half, and we drove on from there, and we held on. I suppose they got 1 or 2 goals, but look, that's the way it goes, and we were lucky to come out on top, thank God.
Listen, history's met today, and you're part of history. Now, first time, 6 championships in 1 decade. That's a major achievement.
It is a major achievement. 6 wins, 7 finals a kid. I suppose if we were asked, like, I suppose it's a dream come true, really, because if we were asked back in 00 and 99, like we were told that we were going to reach 7 finals in the next decade, geez, we'd say people were off their head. Like, it's a dream come true, but I suppose on our part, it's the amount of hard work we've also put in over the last 10 years. It's been serious, and thank God it paid off again today.
Great to win it. Six medals now, and I suppose beating the neighbours makes it a little bit better, I suppose, but they give us a great game now, in fairness today. Like, we knew the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however long we'd known that we'd faced Starfart, like, we'd done a lot of work and paid off in the second half. Now we got 7 or 8 points there, started the second half, and that killed it off. Really experience, I think they're a bit green, maybe given they need another maybe couple of years. They'll be a right good team yet though.
Did that first surprise you there, coming back there in the latter half of the second half?
Yeah, I suppose at that stage, like, we were up by maybe 10-12 points, like, and they were always going to come at us. They weren't going to die. Like, we knew that. Like, we started the second half there. We had maybe 4 or 5 players around the middle of the field. We won a lot of ball, but they won a few balls and got forward and got a few goals. Like, but that was always going to happen. They're always going to come back at you. So we just tipped away, try and get our points, keep tipping away.
Patrick, you're coming to a lot of matches over the years. Was that sweet?
Oh, just anything be affected very good, like, you know. But overall, like, Kilmoyley was the better team of the day, like, you know. Second half, they were extreme, great scores, like, great scores. And I think in 50 minutes second half, the game was over, really. I know they got a competition goal, but, you know, overall, Kilmoyley was the better team on the day, like, so I can't say much on that.
We're one of these loyal supporters. You see her at every Kilmoyley match. What do you reckon of that match today?
Absolutely brilliant. First half was close enough, but I thought once Kilmoyley got on top, there was no way they were going to lose it. And Sean Young's goal that turned the tide before half time, brilliant goal. And thank God we pulled it, was absolutely brilliant. And I thought they were absolutely fantastic. They were brilliant. Yeah, so great. Kilmoyley, boo.
Outstanding, just outstanding. Outstanding. The whole team, like, every one of them.
Everyone give their heart there today.
Their heart, both minor and senior, like. The minor team are fantastically.
Did you ever think they'd lose today?
No, it never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind.
I spoke to you over there training many a night, and you were always full of confidence, weren't you, Pat?
Always. Yeah.
And of course, and then the double, the minors, that was fantastic as well.
It's just unbelievable, like, unbelievable.
Sean, you must be a proud man today.
Well, sure, we're winning both minors and seniors. What more could be asked of the club, and what more could be asked of the players? They gave us at all levels, and we're not, proud is not the word. I don't know what you put it down to, but we're totally over the moon.
I mean, it could be an awful long time again before this record is broke.
Well, history is made today, and it take a long time to write history up the history books, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a bunch of young fellas coming on stream to take over from some of our older fellas that someday will move on. But I'm not saying they're going to move on shortly. But we have fellas coming on stream from the minors, and that's a great thing.
Do you think this is the best team I ever came out of Kilmoyley?
This has to be the best team because they're going for just 2001. More than half of them. It has to be the best team. But a team is made up of everybody, and a lot of young fellas come on stream, and that's what it's all about. And we're delighted that we have young fellas to come on and help us out.
Tom, all the hard work, all the hard training they put over the years, it's paid off.
It is very much. I mean, these are days to be rejoiced, and where people can take full, start to appreciate all the hard work, all the grafting that lots of people in this club have done over the last, I suppose, 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Days like today are not built on a couple of months' effort and training. They're built over many, many years, and a lot of work by an awful lot of people.
Willie, fantastic match.
Very good, very good. That was excellent.
All the hard training paid off.
All the hard training paid off. And the one thing I liked about them, they left the Hurley do the talking.
Thanks, Willie. Father Morris, history has been made.
It certainly has been made, and it has been made in great style. Kilmoyley won pulling up big time, won in great style, and at the end of the day, I suppose hurling is the most skillful game in the world, and Kilmoyley played with a great level of skill, as did their minors, and things bode well for the future. And as a Kilmoyley man, you'd have to be very thrilled today with, well, it's immortality, 6th title in 9 years, so we're proud, and people like Willie, who've won the Gansett before, must feel justifiably proud of these current gang of players.
And of course, the double, the minors, played a fantastic game as well.
They did, yes. The minors were very good. People have talked about the level of skill. At half time, it was a draw. Kilmoyley minus playing against the wind. You wouldn't give them much of an opportunity, of a chance really. But the second half, again, it was skill. They were smaller, physically smaller, but they harried and they tackled and played with absolute commitment. And yeah, you'd be very proud of them. And a lot of those guys will come along and wear the scene against it, please God.
the hurlers that Kilmoyley have done today only bring home the 2 trophies. This is what Ballinora thinks of Kilmoyley hurling the welcome here tonight. Big bowl of us for Ballinora.
And pupils of Skulldugger, it is a great honour to welcome these 2 history-making teams to our school today. It was a wonderful achievement, and I would like to congratulate everybody from the club who was involved in it. On a personal note, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Sean Lovett Minor Cup to the school, and I'm sure my father is looking down with great pride at these young hurlers of the future. It's also wonderful to welcome back Neil Smith to Kilmoyley again. I'd now like to hand over to Declan Lovett, who will talk us through the ceremony.
Thank you, Mrs. Crowe. As a matter of fact, this to me is one of the greatest days Kilmoyley School will ever have, because this time the teams have done something that was never done before. The minors and the seniors won on the same day. So, like, it's a wonderful morning. Now, the first thing I always do is I introduce the trophies. And the first trophy is the Neil Flynn Trophy. Neil Smith was a wonderful hurler. He was from Causeway. He played with Kerry for many, many years. But in 1932, now I wasn't even born then, 1932, he was captain of the Causeway team who won the Senior Hurling County Championship. So that's the Neil Smith Trophy, and he's now speaking with a Kilmoyley accent because he's been here for the 6th time in a number of years. Neil Smith Trophy. The next trophy, the principal, Mrs. Crowe, said that she was very proud that it's back in Kilmoyley School because her father, Sean Lovett, this trophy is called after her father, Sean Lovett. Also with us today, Peter Crowe and Kevin Crowe. Sean Lovett was their grandfather. So Sean Lovett Trophy is back home where it should be, and we're delighted to have it here, and well done to the minor team. I just want to thank Mrs. Crowe for allowing me to introduce those players. It's a tremendous pleasure to do it. But she started it, so she's going to finish it. I'll hand her back to the principal, Mrs. Crowe.
You're a big company, and I must thank them for 2 reasons. First of all, because they make such an occasion of this. I don't think anyone else can handle it as well as they do. And also, I must thank them for continuing to come to coach the future hurlers of Kilmoyley, because I know the children really look forward to Wednesday when the master comes back. So, I'd also like to finish just by thanking the club. I know there are some treats in the other room which we'll distribute later, so thank you for the treats, and thanks for taking the time to come and share the day with us. Lovely, lovely occasion.
Plenty of players that were in the running for this, but I'm afraid it's just the one man who can accept the trophy, and the winner is Micheál Reid.
Speaking to John Patrick Mansell and Den Young, the two surviving members of the 1948 winning Kilmoyley team. What are your thoughts on that day?
Well, we left Kilmoyley in Johnny Gladden's lorry anyway. The lorry was full subs, the whole lot were in the thing, and we got into Tralee an hour before the game, and it was a hard, tough game. And Kilmoyley won by a point or 2 points. 2 points. We were, do you know what we were training now? Do you know what we were training? Yeah. Well, the graveyard is now.
That's
right. That's right.
That's right, that's true.
Well, the graveyard is now in Royals Field. I don't know what that is.
Now, John, there's another cup there behind you as well. The Sean Lovett Cup. He was a good player in his day.
He was a star. A hard, tough man. He played for Kilmoyley, he played for the county. And turned to beat him. He was outstanding. And a very clean, quiet hurler. But he was good. There was no doubt about it. And he played for Kerry. I seen him playing in Cork one day. And the field was something dreadful to so bad. And Kerry won it. And Sean played a great game. And there's be hurlings and slitters. We coming home, Calvin will be here and he sewing away. I'm going to hurl and say, listen, how can one drawing? Calvin the shot clapping. If Patsy were dead, I'd be no hurling. Or something. Oh, Jesus.
We couldn't patch in before he died. That's where he got the goal and all that. He was being did your thing, you see. Never do it, take legs on the screen. The next thing he takes all the home. And give it the consolation. And he's enough for him, that's it. He's like, some of them. He's no that.
That's right, Jim. I have been chairperson for 14 years, but success doesn't come easy. A club has to work very hard, and players and management and supporters alike has to put in a serious effort to get where we are today. We had a very successful year at all levels. Our minors won the county championship the same day as our seniors won the county final in Tralee. History was made on the day because I think it was around 47 years ago since Kilmoyley won a minor and a senior title in the 1 year, but it was not on the same day. We also went up to 22 titles in the seniors. We won 6 championships in a decade, which has to be a serious successful year for the club. After the county championship, we settled down to preparing for the meeting of Douglas, which was to be played up in Park Earing in Cork. We put in a huge effort. We travelled in big numbers on the day, got great support, and the match was tit for tat. Going into 2 or 3 minutes of extra time, I absolutely thought, and most people thought that we had the match, but it wasn't to work out on the day. But we came home disappointed because, and I want to thank the players for their efforts and the management of all teams at all levels throughout the year, and the players on the day in Park Earing for what they did for us. But a little bit of light came then before Christmas. Tom and Shane were awarded with the Christie ring, and that made up for it. So we have to start afresh again, and we have to look forward to the coming year with more vigour, and sure, there's no more I can say to it, only that it's an honour for me to be chairperson of the Kilmoyley Hurling Club, and we'll put in a little bit more hard work for the coming year.
you.